And we're live. So happy Wonder Wednesday, everyone. If you're here back with us today, we're on part two on our event based all on design systems here in Figma. And why is it important for designers to learn about design systems? Well, because they will give you the structure and the guidelines you need to have the most organized project you would ever wish for. And so having a design system is ever so helpful, not only for your own team's sake, but also when you're delivering your project to a developer. And so to kind of have that really clear structure that even developers can understand, it's really, really important to create that good conversation between the two fields. So if you're joining us here today for the first time, this is Floxies Community. We're an international community for women in UX UI design and Webflow development. And we gather here every Wednesday, inviting guest speakers, influential guest speakers from either the field of design or Webflow. And, they're ever so kind to allow some of their time to come here into our community and share their knowledge with us. So hi, everyone who's watching. Elaine, great to see you in the chat. And so we're going to join our metaverse on Gather. Let's see how long that will last because, Gather is changing its pricing. And so we will see whether we'll keep using this platform or move elsewhere because as a community, we have 1,350 women from all over the world, and so we need to make sure that we find a space that can accommodate that. All right, let's get into the space, and let me get out of the way and join the other girls. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Wonder Wednesday. And thank you so much, Wafa, for being here today for part two on, how to design the best ever design systems on Figma. For those of you that weren't here last week, we had an amazing event with Wafa walking through what a design system is, why it's important to really set the good foundation when you're starting to build your design system. And yeah, we just explored the best practice, and we're ever so grateful to have you back, Wafa, because everyone who attended that event just came out of it with such a passion for design systems. And I know that when we first joined today, the first thing that you heard was like, oh, and that's why I hate Figma. And so it's really it's a challenge, I guess, today for you to make the person change their mind or anyone else, but I'm sure that will be an easy process for you because I absolutely loved your passion throughout your presentation last week. And as I was saying to you earlier on, you have so much knowledge that it's just a pleasure to be here and learning from you. So welcome back into our community, and welcome everyone to part two of our design system.
Well, thank you, Claudia. It's really my pleasure to be here. And now I have today a new challenge because I gotta try to convince you I do use Figma. So today, instead of me going on design system, I figured not many people here are very comfortable with Figma, so I want on like the best practices of setting up the components in Figma. Like, how should you set it up if you want to?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm just gonna go in a very smaller level, and then let's see how much we can cover. If we can't, then definitely we can do another session where I can talk about the rest of this stuff. So I'll just go with the flow kind of a thing.
Amazing.
And so, but for this, because today is going to be very hands-on, and before I start sharing my screen, I would actually going to ask you guys to open your Figma on your end, do what I'm doing, stop me in the middle. If you guys have any questions, like, hey, I'm doing this is not working out. So I truly think just I'll be making like an article card or so, and then I just want to make sure you guys are doing it with me, so it's just gonna, help you being very hands-on, and then I can assist you guys if you guys have any hiccups.
That's
Well,
amazing. So anyone here who's watching as well from YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitch, make sure you fire up your Figmas, and because you know how much we love a hands-on session. I think it's the most valuable thing. And knowledge, we were just reflecting on what we do. Like we have these webinars every week, and knowledge is ever so important. So thank you so much again, Wafa, because you're empowering so many people right now in these 60 whatever minutes we have. and you might not realize it, but the impact that you're having right now, it's priceless. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you once again. All right, I'm gonna start sharing my screen real quick. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Let me see.
Entire screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Right?
Yeah,
Because
I
I
can see gather within the gather.
okay. All right. Sorry, I need to pull up
No
my
worries.
file.
Yeah.
Wow, I swear I thought it in front of me, but it's just gone. Um, hmm. Okay, so I know that. Can you guys see this card, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you know what? Take a screenshot in front of you. So basically, the challenge is if you need to create this kind of card, how are you guys going to do in Figma? So and then I will set this up in front of you guys. So where I'll be utilizing variations and everything, and that's how you guys will know what are the best way how to set this up and how to go about it, basically. All right, let's just if you guys want to take a screenshot of this and just put it in the Figma and do it the way you do it usually. Like quickly do it like you know how you make a one square and you put this and in a old fashioned way I always call it. And then I'm just going to walk you guys through how would I set this up in Figma, how to make sure this is responsive, how to make variation, how to add an interactive, how do I make this an interactive component, stuff like that. All right, so I think if I tackle this card today, it's a win-win. All right. Usually, when I have more time, I would ask everyone to do it your way, and then I show them so that they can realize, oh, okay, is that how you expect this to be working?
Let's just show them the right way.
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, like, obviously, I do. The first thing is, I always say you need to think about what you need. First, I'm just going to drop this. Here's that one text, here's another. The heading goes here, and then we have, I'm really breaking, whoops. I'm breaking these things down of all of my little pieces separately. Here, I'm going to pull this out. Right now, I'm going to remove this. So all those shapes. So let's just say I have this card and I'm just going to put this aside for now. So you guys see, I have this card. I just got one copy of all the shapes. The first and foremost things, what I like to do, literally, you just put everything in, put them like together. Now, the way I would do this, in old times when actually, you know what, I want to also focus on the button later, which I'll take it. Let's talk about the button first. Sorry. So in the past, what we used to do, we would get a shape, correct? And then we would, have a box, and then we would write something on like read, read more. I am coming from Photoshop background as well. This is how we used to do that. Then I would add here, you add a radius. I don't know what is the radius I used here, but I'm just going to make a guess. Let's just say 24. This is my button right here, right? And then what you would do, you would make a group selection. So now that's my button. But this is how you don't do things with Figma, because what if now I want to write something? This button is not responsive. What if I want to enter something? Now I have to go back in, adjust, do all that. It's a lot of work. What if my text is longer, smaller, all those issues? So what has Figma has done, which was like amazing because um, to me, the Power Figma, the auto layout kind of brings so much structure to your design. So the way I would set this up, I would take the same thing, I would write the text in that, actually, it's still in the, hold on. I'm going to just make a copy of this text and bring it out here. So, so I don't know why it's still in the group. Give me a second. I'll pull it out of the group in my layers. Okay, now it's by itself. So here is a text, and I'm just going to call this a button. Basically, I'm going to be making a button. So instead of me putting that in a frame, I'm going to say Shift A. And that thing, do you see those three lines? That means it's an auto layout right now. So, and then I'm going to call this a button. Now my button is ready, and I'm going to fill this right here. Actually, fill this. I'm going to select over here, pick my picker. And now I think we talked, just remind me, did we talk about how to add the styles before?
Yeah, yeah, we looked at that on part one.
Right, right. Okay, so I'm not gonna cover the styles for right now, but technically you need to have your styles, all of them here. So you already have styles in place, now you're making components. Now, let's just say for this one, I'm going to press Option and I can see what is the padding top and the side. Can you guys see that? The color is not helping right now, but
Mm-hmm.
let me just change that into a, let's just say, like lighter color, just to show you guys. Do you guys see that? So when you press Option and hover, it'll tell you how much padding top and bottom has. So now I know there's a top and bottom heading of 8 and side is 16. So I'm going to come to my auto layout. On the side, anybody knows coding? It's kind of like a flex box. So now you guys see there's a box. I can adjust my top and bottom heading, which was 16. Was it 16? Because it looks, sorry.
And let's just check with everyone because you said, the magic word, also layout. Is everyone here? Are you all following? Do you need us to repeat how you set the auto layout? Let us know. We don't want anyone to be, left behind before we move on. So,
The magic word that I use is auto layout, and you can make anything auto layout using using that can all happen using auto layout is Shift plus A. So for
nice.
instance, if you have a plain text, I'm going to pull this out again. You press Shift A, it turns an auto layout. Basically, it's a frame. And you know your frame is an auto layout when you have these lines on the side. Look in your layer panel. So now, once you create the button, obviously it's white color for my text because this guy changed the color um, right here. Okay, no. All right, and then now I'm gonna also check for this, just to get, so you can see it has 24, um, 24,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, radius. And I also, oh, I forgot to, because you guys see this looks closer, and when we checked here, it was, I believe it was 16 side padding, but right now we have 10, so I'm gonna do 16. And
Okay.
now we have the same button. But what is so special about this? Actually, this is a very important concept because when we talk about auto layout, we have three options. Um, oh, I had a really nice diagram. I wish I had it in front of me. So the three options that we have is the first one called is the hub content. Hub content. I don't know if you get, and the other one is fill container. And the third one that I want to talk about is the fixed width. All right. Now I want you to think about fixed width. We all know when I come over here, let's just say when I'm here, and I tell this to have a fixed width right here, because I'm telling basically this that what kind of what kind of auto layout I want. Now, if I say fixed width, I'm gonna say I want 200 pixel wide. So it's gonna fix width for me. Do we all understand the fixed width?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say let's check out the height, I can also fix with the height. I could say 500, which I'm going crazy here, but well, I'm just trying to show. It's gonna fix the width for me. Like it's static. It's not gonna change anything. Now that being said, now the next big one is the hub content. But let's just say now you don't want this. I'm gonna say I want a hub content. So hug content, what it's gonna do is gonna hug the content. Basically, it's gonna keep the padding that we decided, right? We decided the padding top and bottom. So it's gonna keep it, but rest the width will get adjusted based on whatever the content is, and plus the padding we assigned. So right now I'm gonna say hug content, and do you guys see that the width it started hugging it? Same thing if I go over here and hug content, it's gonna hug. So when we usually make a button, we keep it hug content. But when you hug content, the whole idea behind is this. Now I can type, now I can enter, my button will be fully responsive. So that's where the magic of auto layout. Field container is a little bit different, and I'm gonna cover that because right now we cannot fill contain this. Think about fill container is, there's a box, right? I know, like I'm literally thinking out loud. And think about it, there's a box and there's a ball, like some kind of, you're playing with the ball or something. And that ball, you put that in the box, right? The fix would be the ball shape will stay remain. That will be fixed with. Um, but when you, for instance, but when it's going to be filled container, what will happen when you're going to put a ball inside the container? The ball will stretch to the outside of the container. I think I may be confusing you guys, but I think that's coming when I'm going to show you what I meant by this in a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys make a button, and this is how you make a button in Figma. Now, let's before I jump into it, I would like to have three variations of the buttons. So I'm going to make option, and I'm making three copies right now. I would like to have my button a hover state. So I'm just going to make it darker. And then let's make a selection state that's going to go even more darker. Let's just say that. All right. Now I have three variations. So I'm just going to select all of them, and I'm going to say create multiple components. And then I'm going to select that, and I'm going to combine as variants. Right now, basically, and I think I'm going to walk you guys through this in a few minutes, but I'm going to type state. So I'm deciding what state each button is, like for instance, right here. So this one is going to be my default button. This is going to be my hover. And this is going to be my, let's just say, selected. Selected. Right. So now, if I take copy of a button, you guys could see in the drop down, I can switch between hover, selected, and default. I'm not done right now with the buttons. I also would like to have, because in future I'll be making some prototypes and stuff. So I would like to add some interactivity here. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to say, I'm going to click on sorry, I switched to prototype instead of design. And then let me walk you guys through this. I'm going to remove this. Please let me know if I'm going too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So now you guys see that plus, that means I would like, I would like some interaction between them. So then I'm saying when I on click, nope, I want hover. So I'm going to say while hovering, change to hover, and then it could be, we could do smart animate and all that, but right now I'll just say smart animate. I'm doing it, and then after that, then now I'm gonna say on click, change to this. So that's my little interactivity. I animate my button. So anytime when I'm gonna make a cut, I'm just gonna grab like one of the component, and it'll have that interactivity. Let's test this out. So I'll put this in a frame right here. I'm just gonna call this test. Why don't I put both of these buttons? We don't need to, but So the way I will test these buttons out, and I'm going to play my prototype because you can play prototype here. So when I play this prototype, I'll just take this time loading. And it's still tiny for some reason. But you can see the hover effect, right?
Yeah, really nice.
Right. So this is what is like again, I'm not a very I've been using Figma for quite some time, and I know the other softwares are trying. When I started Figma, it used to do that, but not other tools. Maybe they still do it. So, and I know all the tools are always working toward, making the tool best possible. But when this thing came out, it wowed me. And I think it was last year or sometime. And I was like, man, like I remember prototyping every single thing on spot. Now I just, do it in my design system and pull button every single time, and it'll be fully animated. So now, you know what? Now I don't need this button because uh, this is in my component, so I'm just gonna borrow that from here.
And let us know if you have any questions so far, whether if it's to do with auto layouts. I could see a comment in the chat. Maria is saying even a hater, but I can use it. Even a hater can use it, so that's
Yeah,
great. Maria, I'm sure you'll get to
No,
love
I
Figma.
said that I did it. I created the thing.
Yeah.
awesome, awesome.
Yeah, I know how to use them. Just a cranky old woman. Never mind me.
All right, let's do one more variation because if you guys remember on the side we have like this clickable, like the idea, even though this is not a perfect design, but even like while I'm working, you guys want to test your skill right now after creating buttons. See if you guys create something like this. The interactivity would be like you can click these, and obviously the idea is it'll change the image, but I won't worry about it if you can't change the image right now, but but I'm gonna quickly make this from scratch. We all know that here I'm gonna make one fill circle, and then I'm going to one with stroke. Let's see. I need to add. That's why I like to add my colors. So I'm just gonna add a quick color. Long
Hmm.
step. I'll
And
just
the great idea would be after all these amazing webinars that we're having with you, like for our community to just come up with a universal design system for our community so we can all use that when we're working together on some projects. That would be really cool.
100%. Now, basically, this is how I made this. So I'm going to remove that. Just want to show you guys simple shapes like that. And now, what I will do, I will create a multiple component. It's called ellipse one and ellipse two. So I think what I will do, I'm going to make a variant, and I'm just gonna call a ellipse, which I hope I'm spelling it right.
Yes.
Um, okay, good. So, and then with ellipse, now I have two different variations. So I'm just gonna say fill, and I'm gonna say yes. This one is like it's a question. Is it a fill? Yes. And I'm gonna say this one no. And now what I will do is I'm gonna, now we made one more variation. By the way, this is our another component, so I'll just put that on the side. Now I'm gonna make a copy of this, and I'm gonna bring this one out. But do you guys see that on the side? I
Mm-hmm.
have a top now. So I can switch between fill and unfill it. So I'm just gonna make, let's see how many there were. I kind of forgot, but doesn't matter.
Um, I can tell you from the screenshot. Let me see.
Um, so I'm just gonna do this right now.
One, two, three, four, five.
hmm
Yeah.
So now each one of them I can fill and select. I just made one very okay. If you guys remember when I was talking to you guys, it's about atomic level. That's what I was talking about. Those are the these are the or like I would say these are like the elements, little elements. We're putting them together and turning them into an atomic to molecule to organisms. It's kind of like that. I know that we have this. The way I would do this, I never use frames. Now you have all those individual pieces. I'm going to select them and tell me what we need to do. Anyone, if anyone have any idea? The magic word, it's like auto layout. Shift A. I'm going to put
Mm-hmm.
everything in auto layout. I'm not going to put it in the frame. The reason I put this in auto layout, what is cool thing about auto layout, you guys can drag and drop. It's just awesome. And I'm just gonna call that carousel. And then now, even though I think I can just, it'll make sense to me. I'm just quickly gonna build this. I'm not gonna be super accurate, but now I'm gonna add some padding. I'm gonna say I want 16 on top. That's a little bit more than 8. 8 is good. And I will do 8 on the side as well. And you guys see on one side there's a curve, like like a radius. So I'm going to open up my radius when I click on all four sides of the radius. So I'm going to say, how about 8 on, actually I need to give it a fill so I can see better. Wrong side. So I'm going to add 8 here. And, oh, actually I picked the wrong sides. 8 here. I always forget. I know a lot of people have a technique for that. Top, left, right. Okay. So I've got similar, but it's opacity. So instead of 100%, I think it was like 70%. So I added here. You can guys can change the opacity of the fill. I'm going to remove this, and now I have this thing right here. So that is ready. But that itself also need to be a component. So I'm going to make this a component. By the way, these components that I'm making, ideally, they are all going to live in design system.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm making it in one file. Ideally, and you guys are going to publish these components and then grabbing these components from here. And I'm going to show you guys later because right now my focus is really focusing on how to, organize these components or how to create these components using Figma and the auto layout and everything. Okay, I have this ready, so I'm gonna make a copy of that main component. And if you guys remember, I talked about it. We never use the actual component because that's a master component. We make a copy of that, and you guys can tell the 4 diamonds are the master component, and a single diamond means um, it's an instance. Now I'm going to, uh, I'm just placing it on top. We have a button. We have text. You can also have body text components and all that, but we're not gonna do it right now. In the past, now I'm going to put everything again. The magic word, auto layout. I'm going to put everything in auto layout. We don't make frames. That's the thing. You have to tell yourself everything needs to be in auto layout. And a lot of people say not everything can be auto, and I would say yes, everything can be in auto layout. So when I put everything in auto layout, you guys can see it. What it did, it just stacked everything for me. And obviously this doesn't work, right? How do I make this like because with auto layout what is amazing is like you just grab it, you just take it out, you just push it in, You take it out, you push it in, then you press option, you grab it. Like no more aligning anymore. And I think that's for me, it's a huge, I always hated it. Like, oh no, let me just center this. Because what it does, it automatically center, left align, right align. And if you want to tweak it, you add padding to it. So now I'm going to bring that down and really think about this. So the first and foremost thing, in the past, if you do auto layout, you cannot put something on top of another, like an image or so. So Figma introduced something called absolute positioning. It's not long, well, it's been a year now, but sometimes, like, I know some of the designers used to be very frustrated because they cannot put anything on top of auto layout. And I think Figma listened to, probably they must have listened to my complaint too, but I used to hate that. And but now we have a solution. So the
I
positioning
guess
is
that's
something.
one of the good things about Figma that, you can't really say that they listen to their community. Or
Yes.
yeah, they do. It's such a community driven product. It's great.
It is, it is. And they have a huge community. What I like about it, you don't have to be a designer because even Figma have provided you ton of things. You guys can, you don't have to make everything from scratch. You can use these screens that are out there and then put your branding to it and then tweak things the way you want to do it. So it's pretty awesome.
Hmm.
But still there are some files you will not see auto layout, so I'm very particular about it. So but if you know about auto layout, the power, because when you're going to go edit things, you guys move so fast if everything's in auto layout, and it's just easier. um, and I'm going to show you, like, one by one, exactly why this card that you make in Photoshop or any other tool, how that's going to help you to create clean, organized design and yet responsive as well. So here's what we created. I'm going to click absolute positioning. What it does, it'll overlap things. Now I can move it anywhere I want. I would still avoid that until you guys have, if you guys don't have you know, a specific, reason for overlapping, because I like things to be stacked. It's just but for that instance, like I could say it's 12 pixel above, so I can just always do this. It's 11 pixels, so I'm just going to use my keyboard to just put that and match it. Now, we all know when we're designing, proximity is a huge thing. It's left aligned here. So sometimes, many times we have a container, then we can put an auto layout inside an auto layout. So first of all, I'm just gonna call that a card right now. No, it says okay. Now, I think what I will do, I'm gonna say I want these to be in a separate auto layout. So basically inside this. So I'm going to add that title and description, and I'm gonna call that, this is actually the main content. Let's just say that. Now, when I did main content, what it's doing, it's hugging it. But let's just say, I want this not hugging it. I want this to be fill container. If you guys remember, and you guys can see in the arrow, it's telling me the frame is not going to hug it anymore. It's going to fill contain it. So it fill contain for me. Now, when you guys see this box, the best part about this, I can left align these, right align these, so on. So for this, I'm going to left align it. And I know that I had a padding of 16. So I'm going to say on both sides of this frame, can you add 16 padding? And obviously, I want some spacing top and bottom. First of all, okay, so there are three types of spacing. So if you guys can see over here on this card, it's saying, okay, it has 0 top and bottom, 0 left and right, but there's 8 padding in between. The 8 padding in between is between this image and this and this. So there's 8 padding in between all three of things. So right now I just don't like to put like padding everywhere. Actually, I have to select this and I'm gonna remove that. So you guys see there's no padding now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add padding on this text, and I'm going to say I want 16 padding from each other. And it looks like to me, I can always match. So it was 16, 16, 32, 16. Um, let's see, 16. And I think just to match that, it was 32. And now I can also see there's also bottom padding. Uh, if I add, let's just say for now I selected my card frame and I can add a bottom and top padding. Together, if I want to add the same padding, 24, let's just say. So do you guys see it gave me padding up above, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously I don't want it. I want this to be fully up. So then my card look like this. Now I'm gonna fill a color, like a white color over here, and then that should look good. Our card is almost done, but one of the issue is um, this is not responsive. Like, so to make this responsive, I think if you guys remember, I talked about fill container. So let's just say, we have a button. Um, I'll just need to say learn more. So wait and see, because the outside is a container, right? So if I say, can you fill this button width to fill container, and you'll see what this will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it is right now left align. I can center it, but what I'm trying to show you guys here, this is what I meant by fill container. But right now I want it how. But what I want, like even I stretch my card, you know, I want this to be fully responsive. So how I can do that? Again, the more familiar you guys are with fill container and these concepts. So here I'm saying this image is fill container. Like however the outside container is big, the image will automatically fill. Anybody knows coding will know it. So I'm just gonna go to the image and I'm gonna should say fill container. Give me a second, not sure what's going on. Right. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's filling the container. No. Um, and I'm just gonna adjust my width for right now. I didn't check what was the width, but okay. But and then what about this? Because this is not an auto layout. So there, Figma also have if something has auto layout. Obviously, you can left align things, but there, you also have like something called constraints. You can put a constraint like no matter what, just keep this thing like how wide this thing is. Keep this thing, left and top aligned, so you guys can see now this also like however big you want. So, so this is how you make every component, like, and then it's also helpful for developers too. You guys don't have to recreate 10 things over and over again. And this is how I would make a card, and I'm going to publish this. All right. Any question right now?
Yeah, there was a question in the chat. Let me
Mhm.
read it to you. So from Alex. Hi, Alex. In some design systems, I've seen the component variants that have not the drop-down menu where you can pick the variant, but instead there's a switch where you just turn something on and off. Do you know how to do that? I think that's the toggle that we were looking
Mhm.
at earlier on. So maybe we can show that
Right, right.
again.
Yeah, right here. So anytime you have, but you also need to be mindful about that it should be yes and no question, right? The toggle can only work if you have two properties that you wanted to show. For instance, you cannot do on and off on these. So I could have like, let's just say here, I'm just gonna throw this. Let's see, I want three more variants right here. And those are going to be my secondary buttons. I'm going to create right in front of you, and then I'll say, how can I use on and off option? So all three of them, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add the stroke, unfill this, and change the white to this color and the stroke to be this color. Let's just say these are my secondary colors. Um, let's just say I'm not, yeah, I mean, like it's close enough. So there are three different, like, same. This is going to be, let me see. So when I select this, it says what kind of state that is. I'm going to say this is also default. And this is also going to be my hover. What I'm doing, I'm making a set of secondary buttons. And this is also going to be my selected version. And once I'm done with this, it's giving me an error that some of your variants, how could like two variants have the same like default? What differentiating them from each other? So I can add a new property and I can say, oh, I want to add a new property. And I could say, um, we could say secondary, right? And then I can give each. I'm going to say all these three things are not secondary. So I'm just going to answer no. And all these are yes. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily set this up. I'm just doing it to give you guys an example.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like, how can you guys use the toggle switch? So you guys see, they all have state, right? And there's a question secondary. So let me show you how that will look. So when I will drag this button, and here, it's asking me which state it is. Is it selected? Hover. By the way, I have to fix it. They're two default right now. But then there's a toggle. You can switch between do you want to turn on your secondary version? So that's how you can set your variants. Did I answer the question? I'm not sure.
Let's see, Alex. Alex, you can let us know. Yeah, so she says, oh, so you make the toggle with yes, no versions. Thanks.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
yeah. And that could be
Um,
called anything. I've seen people using that for light or dark designs. So you
mhm,
can turn it, you can use the toggle for those two different, after all, they're just variants of the same component, and then you just toggle in between them. Um,
exactly.
We do have another question from Andrea. Can you repeat how you aligned the carousel on top of the image using auto layout? So far, I've been doing it with a combination of group plus auto layout.
All right. Sorry, I think I missed a question.
How did you
I
align
think
the
I may
carousel?
know. I may know Andrea. Is she Andrea? Tell her. Do I know her? Just I don't
Andrea, do you know Wafa personally?
know. I
Are
just don't
you
want to.
are you one of her
No, not yet.
students?
No,
Okay. All right.
not me.
Okay. Never mind. So, um, sorry. Could you, Claudia? Would you mind repeating the question? I'm so
Oh yeah,
sorry.
sure. Andrea, you can ask if you want, if you want to step on mic.
Yeah, my question is how do you align the carousel on top of the image using auto layout? Because I know that using auto layout you just put it on top of each other, so I don't get how do you put it on top of the
Right.
image, it's on side of the image. Let's say.
Yeah. So I think it's again, it is considered, it got introduced, this feature is called absolute positioning, the thing that I'm highlighting.
Mm, yeah.
So for
Okay.
instance, here's my button, and let's just say I'm going crazy with this, but I want to put this button on top of this image. So all I have to do, click on that, and then I'm going to click absolute positioning. So what it does, I can drag it now.
Okay. Yeah, I
That was,
missed that. I missed
yeah,
that part of
yeah,
the
right, right,
explanation. So yeah,
right.
I got
And
lost.
I think any Figma user a year before, that was everybody's pain point. I knew it. It's like people will say, "Oh, I appreciate the stacking and everything," but there are instances when you just want to put something on top of each other, and then that was a pretty good game changer. I mean, I think I'm so glad Figma did that.
Hmm. Yeah, and I
Um,
think it relates really well. Like a lot of our people here at Floxies are, using Figma for their designs, and then they're using Webflow for their development. And so
mhm,
the absolute position is something that they will find after in their development process because,
mhm,
it works exactly the same. So,
mhm. All right. I don't know, Claudia, what's the time is like? Do you want me to continue every second? I can take a pause here, or
let's see, do we have any more questions here from the community? And if not, we can see. What did you want to show us something else, Wafa, for another five, or we can leave that for the
I can
next?
show something real quick because I think the next thing is really where I wanna take you guys to is because at the end of the day we are thinking of design systems. I just want to quickly visualize in front of you guys that because when we do these components, you don't want everything to be available for everyone. For instance, nobody cares, like nobody gonna go, I want those ellipses. People, when they're gonna go in your library, they probably just want the cards. They don't care about all the little itty bitty things, small elements. Of course, they want buttons. So I just want to quickly say, if you don't want things to be shown in your library, in Figma, what you do, you add a period in the front. So what it does, it doesn't show in your library. Because you may want a carousel, but I don't think you really care about these two things. Because if you do care, you would be coming to design system. So I just wanted to make this a point. So anytime you guys don't want to publish in your library or don't show other designer that, or maybe because you're removing extra fluff, you're showing them actual components. So for instance, now what I want to talk about, how do I publish library? And
Mm-hmm.
then that is where my quick, so let's just say we created a ton of components. They look good. Everything's good. So you go over there. Here right now it says demo workshop one. It's supposed to say whatever your library is. So I'm gonna publish it right now. So it's telling me I'm gonna publish all the styles you added. I'm going to publish all the components. You guys can see here's the list. And there's one hidden. So the hidden is the one that I added the ellipse. So people won't be able to see when they're accessing my library. All right. Once this got published, I just want to show you guys. The idea behind everything is when I start, like I have these component libraries. And when I start a new file, like somebody came to me, hey, can I have like a card gallery section or article card gallery or something? So I'm gonna just call a project something. That's my new working file, not my design system file. I'm gonna come in my assets and I am going to enable my library, which I don't know. God, I thought I published it, right? Let me double check. Whoops. Did I stop sharing with you guys?
No, I can still see it.
Okay,
Oh,
good. Um,
oh,
let me know.
now it stopped.
I stopped. All right. Okay. I'm going back again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can you see it now?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure. I don't know what happened. It got published or not. But yeah, it says it's published and it's up to date. So my library is published. I just have to find it where to go.
It's very
Um,
inception-y right now.
yeah, I think it's just a smaller file. So what I will do for now, I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna bring it over here and maybe then I have to search it.
No worries. Yeah, I'm just gonna minimize the screen so that
There
I
it is.
can read the chat. Just be careful with responsiveness when it comes to absolute positioning, says Alex. Yeah.
Yes.
And if you have an issue in Webflow, come to me and I will make you take all absolute positioning off and until you get to the point you actually need to use it.
Hmm.
Yes.
Claudia knows because I've
I
done
know
it.
very well. Whenever I would be working on a website and like something wouldn't work for whatever reason, I ask one of our Webflow experts here, Maria, I go there with all my best intentions, and she's like, "All right, Claudia, let's start from scratch." And that works. It's absolutely a lifesaver. So
Right.
great teacher, Maria. All right, Wafa, should I be looking at your screen? I see the
Yes.
gather town right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
I can see the gather, your streaming gather.
Oh, my bad. Hold on.
No worries. And if anyone here has any questions, not only our community at Floxies, but also the audience on social media, feel free to drop them in the chat. We still have 7 minutes left, so it's now or never.
All right. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So here's a new working file I opened up. Now I'm going in and I'm searching for the library and I can see the demo workshop one and I can enable that library because do you guys remember those are the components we made. Once I enabled it, what it'll happen, I'll be able to access their styles and everything. And now ideally I can pull this card out. And again, I'm accessing, I'm not seeing those two. So you can control what you want to share. So here's my button. Like I can also use that to build, new components. But ideally, now I can drag this and bring it here. And then, I can make like, I don't know, like a little gallery. And then I'm going to shift A, add a title on top and all that, another carousel at the what I'm just trying to say, and that's how we like in a simplest form. That's how we get those components from other libraries. So just to show you guys the magic, we have at Kimberly Park we have a ton of libraries. So there are 54 libraries here. So we enable these libraries, and it really based on what we need.
The different
Um,
types of projects, right?
mhm.
That's really cool.
Uh, yeah, that's like, and you guys can see there are huge, huge libraries. It's not like, and I think just to show you guys the version of what it looks like, here is Huggies NA, and I can access, like, here's all of my informational cards, how we organize them, and I can open them. Here's my error selection, here's my FAQ stuff. Here's my gender tool because they do the I don't know, like you can do a fun calculator about like then we have ton of pop-ups. I can drag this pop-up right here. Just want to show you. Here it is. It's fixed width, and I instantly know what's the problem and how content it. Did you guys see that? Because it was fixed height. So it's telling me it's 800. But when I say no, 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 hug the content. So like what's gonna do is gonna hug the content. It's hugging content right now.
Awesome.
So you guys can see now this is how we work. We already have a ton of screens. We don't make it from over and over again. I think one of the question was, what if I want to do something different here? Then I would detach that, make a variation in the design system, but then bring that card back in again. So,
Hmm.
all right, just wanted to visually show it,
That's
and so that.
amazing, and I think it's so powerful. I'm just in awe by the work that you do. Like it's so pleasantly, like visually pleasant. Is that the right way of
Mhm.
saying it? But it's just a pleasure to see how organized you are and like all the knowledge you have around this topic. I feel like we can keep on asking you questions and questions about it, and yeah, we wouldn't be disappointed. You've disappeared now. Um, I did have a question if you're still here with us.
Sure, yes, 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 I'm still here. Oh,
Uh,
my camera went
yeah, your
off. Okay.
camera's off.
I'm still here. Not sure what happened, but
All right.
go ahead.
What are some challenges to building and maintaining a design system in Figma, and how can they be overcome?
The main challenge is not being organized.
Mm.
I think the more there's not like you can always be more organized. And when I say organized and keeping it consistent, making sure you don't just continue adding without even thinking. You know, structure is the first thing you need to constantly think about, and then and updating it as you go. It could be challenging because sometimes I work with such a big organization, and sometimes people are not following rules, and sometimes they are. So governance is could be challenging at times, but I do think if there's a structure in place and clear expectations of other designers too, it can do wonders. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say it's not haven't been challenging. It's I think anybody who work with teams, it is always challenging. Probably the person who govern the design system know all the heat they get. You know, like, hey, where's the component or the
Would that be
component?
you in this case? Are you that
Sorry.
person? Are you that
Oh
person?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like but I think everybody also understand the importance of it. But because it's always like go go go, it's like you need these designs, and but these things does take time, but it's worth it.
Also, I think it's gonna save you time as well, especially when you have to change one little
Mhm.
component in your hero, or a little change, whatever it is in the design. Instead of you building it from scratch, you just have to go into the design system, change the component back in the library.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, at
100%.
TC, we've definitely utilizing design system for every single brand. We've been pretty, yeah, fortunate that at least they understand the power of design systems. So
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah.
Alex is saying the biggest struggle is to find balance between having enough components in the design system and not having too many of them.
Yes, but it really depends on what kind of product you have. So, for instance, if I'm working for like I was working for Salesforce
Mm.
UI, right? Their components were very different from something that I would do for Huggies. So I would say keep it to minimum, right? I like to break things down. Just don't go create 10 different variations if you don't need to. If you really think about it, you need three, four sections of one sign up section, or some gallery card. So be very wise about this, and don't overdo with the components too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. All right, before I have one last question, if you have any more space, and then I'll set you free. And I
Sure.
hope, you
Go
know,
ahead.
that's not a given, because I will be trying to get you back very soon, because
No, definitely. Yeah, I
I
feel like
absolutely I
I'm
absolutely loved
halfway.
it.
I'm
And
halfway there. I'm sorry. Like I am a design system nerd, I should say. I can talk about it all day, so it's not. It doesn't
then
bother
that's our luck. That's our luck, and we're grateful. Let me see. I did have one last question from one of the girls in the community, from Zara. I feel overwhelmed with learning design systems. What's one small thing that you would recommend doing first, or maybe any resources I should look at?
Um,
Maybe you
and
can
I'm
watch our part one, Zara, as well.
Yes, that's important. But I'll tell you what, right now, when you guys starting, there's because I haven't got to that part, like how much resources we have to get you guys started. And I think our next one that I'm gonna set up, how to quickly have you build something like this.
Mhm.
Right now, what is more important, like me coming back again, you guys getting comfortable with auto layout. Once you guys start creating some components, like get in a habit, but there's so much you guys don't have to, because there's so much out there. You guys can take copy whole design system, and within 20 minutes you guys can make it your own. So I think I just need to show those steps without getting overwhelmed. If, like, just say if I have to give you guys homework, go do the get good at using auto layout. And I think that's where I had zero background. I was interning with another friend And she picked it up like this, and it took me some time to get used to it. So it's really weird. I've seen some people like it's so natural for them to work in the auto layout, but some of them have to work hard, like me. So, but then I did, and I understand, and I would say, if you really want to do design system in Figma and you're serious about it, learn auto layout.
Hmm.
And the rest of the steps are very simple and easy.
Amazing. Yeah, that's a good tip, learning the auto layout. And I think we're gonna get our hands dirty next week as well because we have Lauren Andrews from Figma itself, who will come to show us how to build the design system from scratch. So she's been following your events as well, and she's a fan, and so she's coming after to just like help us build from scratch, and then after that we can refine and have one last session and make sure that everyone really has a strong foundation on how to build these design systems. So
Right. I'm glad. I would love to attend it. And then I'm definitely, please do share it with me so I know the parts that she covered. I
mhm.
don't go over it, but there are very quick ways. Guys, there's so much faster ways to do this. And I'm not sure, like, how Lauren approach will be, but I'm really interested to see this. And again, Zara, don't be overwhelmed. There's the easier way.
And
Easier way.
you can always come into our community and ask for
Yes.
help in our Discord,
Yes.
and
Mm,
yeah, we'll be there.
yeah.
Well, Wafa, thank you ever so much for being here with us again. You know how much I appreciate that, and how much I respect your knowledge and expertise on the matter. And I hope this could be a future. We can start our future collaboration together. And yeah, I would love to have you in our community and just be there with us.
Yeah, I love your Gathers town. I'm totally visiting it again.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here with us today. And yeah, stay tuned for next week's event and take care.
All right, sounds good. Bye, ladies.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye, everyone.